What's up, cyberspace cadets? IRATE Prostate here for another edition of the CREEM stream. That's right, it's Friday night, and you know what that means? It's time to rock and roll. In the studio tonight, I've got the lovely MOKA Rosary.
Hello.
And Harlequin's Happy Hour, of course.
Hey.
Big Fat Brian.
What up, fam?
Sir Adamantine.
Cheers.
And Death Hyruken.
Yo, what's up, guys?
And Jack Cochran. That Jack motherfucking Cochran. Sorry. You say hey, Jack?
He's dead.
I think
whose fucking voice broke? Someone's voice broke, but they were like, "Hi." Shit, who the fuck were you?
Was that
I
me?
wasn't looking. No. So one of these guys' voices broke. I need to know who.
You mean when I said, "Hey, fam"?
No, not you.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay. Yeah, because that's just an act.
Yeah, that's just a Brian.
Uh-huh.
A Brian.
Oh, so how's everybody doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel a lot better. I'm still not at full energy. Hopefully my energy, will perk back up. But, never go to the ER, especially not at 1 a.m. Everybody is rude.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
Why don't you tell everybody what happened to you last night?
Well, wasn't last night, but pretty much, a couple nights ago at about 11 a.m., I started having trouble breathing. And I was like, you know what? I probably, just got a motherfucking chest cold or some shit. I'm gonna be fine in a couple hours. Well, it didn't. It only got worse. Played Vermintide with some people, dying. I'm like, I can't fucking breathe. But, I was gonna go to bed that night about 1 a.m., my normal bedtime. And I blacked out for a couple seconds. And I'm like, I need to go to the ER. I can't breathe and I'm blacking out. Well, pretty much, I was having an asthma attack. Never had one before. It was caused by my bronchitis. And yeah, I almost hit the deck. Oh goodness, it was awful. So they had to put me on pure oxygen, and when I got out about 6 a.m. It took me about a 4-hour nap, got up and did my show, and sounded like Bane. It was pretty great. But I'm still having a little bit, I gasp every once in a while, because, I'm still getting over it, but it should be better in like a couple days.
Well, I'm glad you're alive.
Living is subjective.
Mocha's a survivor. She got to see them titties.
Well, Mocha,
Exactly.
see, I don't know a whole lot about you. Why don't you introduce yourself and pretend like there's a bunch of people in this, watching tonight that don't know who you are and what you're about. Kind of school us on who you are, what brought you to YouTube, and then why did you choose the name MOKA?
Okay, hello, my name is MOKA Rosary, I'm an alcoholic. No, seriously. In all seriousness.
Cheers, by the way.
Thank you. I can't drink right now. I will pretend drink with you. I'm dying because I can't drink because of the medicine I'm on.
You can't drink after being in the hospital?
No, they put me on medicine. I can't do it. I want to so bad. But yes, I am actually I call it, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm an alcohol efficient. And I am the host of, stop that, Mistaken Lunatics, with my co-host Rob. My first appearance is going to be kind of a shock for everyone here. First time I came on YouTube, I came on Devin Tracy's channel. Because he said, I want a chick to come in here, and I was channel surfing. And I was like, oh, sure, I'll fucking go on. Why the fuck not? And he's like, who are you? I'm like, I'm nobody. And he's like, well, at least you're honest. I'm like, yeah, fucking let me in. So that was my first appearance. I've always went by Mocha Rosary because I was raised Catholic, and I would drink coffee every day, and it kind of just people just made that nickname for me as I grew up. Because I would always carry my rosary beads around with me.
Oh, okay, killer.
Yeah,
right.
on my cup of coffee.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So, Death Hyruken, man, why don't you do the same thing? Tell us who you are. Tell us about, what brought you to the YouTube scene and how you got your name, Bob.
Well, I just got my name by thinking of the first things that came to my head. But
You're the one who
I came on-
squeaked.
Yeah, I've had 15-year-old voice for 6 years now.
You poor dear. Someone punch him in the gut, make his nuts drop. Help this guy out.
Hi, Hyruken, though. What does I've wondered this before. What does the name mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
It's,
Honestly, I just mixed.
It's entirely made up.
I mixed the Hyruken and the Hyruken together.
And what are those things?
They're Ryu moves from Street Fighter.
Okay.
Basically an uppercut and a fireball.
Gotcha.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Yes,
So we
I
got
am
a
a nerd.
gamer?
I can quote you half the Star Wars galaxy right now.
There's no
Please don't.
shame in nerddom.
Actually, now I do have a question for him. How did you like Solo?
It was all right. Lando was the best part.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Speak up, Death Hyruken.
How did his what is it? I don't know.
He was in love with a
Polyamory.
robot. He was in love with a robot.
Okay.
I'm in love with a robot.
Kind of like Lando
The robot.
Calrissian.
Yeah, the robot can meet all your desires. I'm sure there's an attachment.
Pansexual.
No.
That's
Hey,
No,
look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this out there in defense of like robot sex. If and when they reach the point, not the Star Wars point, but the point where they're indistinguishable.
No, it wasn't.
Oh my God! Could you imagine being able to shut something down when it argued with you?
Oh, yeah,
Oh my God, that would be great.
Yeah, that's part of the beauty.
That's the
That-
dream.
No,
That or you could beat
The
it.
dream.
he couldn't
You
even
could
do
fucking
that.
like say, they can go, when am I gonna meet your parents? And you just shut it off. You're like, oh fuck, needy little bitch. Ugh.
Never click. Remote control and arguments like that. I would have to stop. Then I could stop taking my shirt off every time.
Hey,
That's usually.
Well,
what I
no.
do.
You can still take your shirt off from me if you know what I'm saying.
you know, guys.
I mean,
it's like,
for you, of course.
Hell yeah.
it's like
Anytime it starts, someone is in the room and they're like, "I have to talk to you," and I'm like, "Oh, I just have to take my shirt off real quick first."
Yeah, Allie, I do want to know why you punished all these men out here by taking your videos down. What did they do to you?
Well, I was actually, interestingly enough, I was threatened by someone who accused me of stalking and harassing and bullying and being an all-around horrible, degenerate person. This person tried to people who I have made relationships with in my real life, tried to get them to give them information on my job and other things, and so I killed my channel. Womp womp.
I'm making a frowny face. It's like, cause I really liked your style, your style, man. The way, because your videos had substance, and then there was, the kind of the milk and cookies aspect to it too, which, look, man, men like to look at beautiful women, that are healthy and in shape. I mean, shit, and women too.
Some.
Well, yeah, exactly. But, it was definitely I'm not going to lie and say that wasn't the thing that attracted me to the channel at first. And then when I got to know you better, it's like, fuck, this chick's got a brain, man. I love it. There's nothing like that's sexy in in a romantic way than a beautiful, intelligent woman to me. All right.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
So yeah, and it's a pure compliment. I'm happily married, and I'm going to be happily married to this miserable redhead over here until the day I drop dead. But
I love her.
she is awesome, isn't she?
She's great. Fantastic.
Well,
She's a
thanks.
pistol.
Yes, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. So Death. Now you're on this side of the deal. What do you think about it? It's not as mysterious.
I'll shoot. It's fun.
Yeah. So you've been. Yeah. I guess you've been gaming online for a while.
Yeah, I play a lot of games. I just never turned up in YouTube stuff until like 2-3 months ago when I finally got up the courage to say something was stupid. It got under my skin so badly. I can't even remember what it was.
Well, good. That's kind of like what happened with me. I just had enough of shit on Facebook, and so yeah, I feel you, man. Sometimes you just gotta say this is bullshit and reach out. I also I don't know. We're talking about Twitter and the abuse of animals. MOKA was talking about that before we went live. Let's talk about that a little bit, because you were saying they were doing. Describe for the people what was going on that you're talking about.
MOKA?
Hello?
Rest in peace, MOKA.
Bueller?
Oh.
Okay. Well, Allie?
I have no idea. I don't have a Twitter.
Oh, shit. That's right, too, man. That's terrible.
Yeah. They flagged my Twitter also. That was like their first, I guess, thing that they did. And then...
So you've been censored by a piece of shit stalker, basically.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
And then, yeah, so, I mean, this person still continues to, like, subtweet me and stuff, which is kind of nice, I guess. My friends are like, hey, by the way, I think she's trying to say something to you. And I'm like, dude, I don't care.
Oh, hold on, Allie. Did you say she?
She, yeah.
Oh, you
got barrened.
You're vicious. That's worse than a guy can be.
It's, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I guess she got her boyfriend to, like, say to my, and this is kind of, like, made me laugh. Because, like, her boyfriend had my phone number. So he could have come to me. He could have said, like, hey, cut it out or whatever. You're hurting my girlfriend's feelings. And I would have respected it. I'd have been like, look, she says shitty things about me. I'm going to respond. It's how it is. Like, you can't just say shitty things about someone and be coy about it without somebody being like, shut the fuck up. Especially when you're in, your girl is in my boyfriend's DMs constantly telling him that he needs to get me to apologize to her and trying to, like, fuck with my relationship. Like, sorry, like, honey, it's bitch, not anything personal,
I hate bitches like that. Oh my god. Sorry, I had to go get my inhaler real quick, but goddamn, fuck bitches like that, man.
I mean, it's not anything personal, but, like, if you're gonna run your mouth, like, I'm gonna have something to say about it, and
yeah.
I'm from New York. That's what I do. So, like, yeah. I get it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and, like, that's cool. But I'm pretty easy to work with. Like, as long as you're cool, I'm cool. Like, don't go running around behind, my back telling my boyfriend that he's hot and, like, that, he's so nice, and he is. But, like, and it's one thing.
To be fair, your boyfriend is hot.
Mm-hmm. He's pretty hot. He's a sweetheart too. It's hard not to love him, but, like, I mean, you don't go running around to someone who is your supposed friend, go to their boyfriend and talk about how, like, in their DMs, like, if you were saying, or whatever on Twitter, I mean, he flirts with people all the time. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. He's got his best friend who is a woman. It doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit. Like, whatever. Like, he talks to who he talks to. I'm not going to tell him not to talk to people. But when you're somebody who's my friend and you're telling him how I'm not good for him, that you're better for him, that you guys get along better, that you guys have a special connection, like that kind of shit, like, shut it down. Like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And so I went to her privately and I was like, hey, please cut this out. It's hurting my feelings. I don't like it. You know, it's disrespectful, and I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
And so then from then on, it was like she was trying to get everybody to, you know, tell me what a bitch I am for saying anything. And I'm like, look, this is somebody who I intend on making a life with. This is somebody who we have looked at immigration. We have looked at, like, you know, we're getting together this summer to figure out, like, is this feasible for us? Is this something that we want? And, like, go forward. I mean, it's costing us both a lot of money to make this happen. Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, just shut it down. That's all I'm asking you to do, is just shut it down. Like, it's not okay. And it turned into this whole thing of, like, I'm abusive and I'm stalking her and I have ridiculous expectations. And then she told everyone that I caused her to want to kill herself, so she was going to the hospital, and she was, I don't know, like, whatever. So she sent a DM to them, with Steeps included, like, I'm going to the hospital, hopefully everything's okay, whatever, and then just, like, left the group DM that she was in, and then didn't talk to anybody. Well, it turns out she didn't go to the hospital. She didn't do any of those things. That was just something she was trying to get at them to come at me. And then other people, other people were coming at me in DMs like, why are you so mean to her? What do you do? And I'm like, I haven't talked to the chick in 3 fucking weeks. Like, I asked her to cut it out. And then I was like, look, if this is how you're going to be and you don't appreciate that I'm asking you to stop when I'm trying to be in a relationship with somebody, then I'm done. Like, I'm out. And I just ignored her. And then she's like, don't you think ignoring me hurts my feelings? And I'm like, I don't know what you want, because I can't breathe without you getting pissed off at me. And then, like, so she got her boyfriend to tell my boyfriend that if I didn't cut it out, if I didn't stop defending myself, he was going to drag my name through the mud and some other shit. So then I sent him a text and I'm like, hey, look, if you want to deal with it, like, it's just as easy. I'm just asking her to talk it out with me, to work it out. You know, she and I to hang out, or whoever, if you want to be there and moderate, I don't care. But, like, this needs to be worked out. She needs to stop. Like, I'm tired of her trying to get all of my friends to tell me what a piece of shit I am. Like, it's enough. I'm like, these are people who I see every day. These are people who I have in my real life who are telling me that I'm a piece of shit to some fucking up thought on the internet. Like, I don't know. So he was like, you don't get to talk to her, you can talk to me. And I was like, don't contact me again or I'll call the police. And then she flagged my Twitter and then told everybody, I didn't flag it, I can't believe it happened, but she pisses everyone off, so obviously somebody flagged her. And then she DM'd Vulcan, who's like one of my best friends, and is like, yeah, I flagged her account, but she deserved it because she's a stalker and a harasser and a bully in this. And he was just like, yeah, fuck you, that's ridiculous. Like, she doesn't do that. And so, like, at that point, once it was like, all right, we're all going to be threatening Allie, we're all going to be like, whatever, we're going to release information and we're going to do this and that and the other, I just took my channel down. I was like, fuck this shit, I don't need it. I have a life. I have things that I have going on. I don't need to deal with it. So that's been my life lately.
So she's the reason we're being punished.
Yeah.
So can I call her a cunt?
You're more than welcome to. I mean,
That's kind of cunty shit. I mean, come on, the behaviors. That's the outright cunty shit in my book. But, you know, I don't know. I'm just old-fashioned that way.
I mean, look, here's the thing. I tried to deal with it with her one-on-one more than once. I sent her a DM, hey, please don't ask my boyfriend to have me, like, please don't ask him to ask me to apologize to you. You're putting a strain on our relationship. That's not okay. He shouldn't be involved. Like, if you have a problem, come to me. We'll work it out. It's not a problem. And then I was like, please stop hitting on my boyfriend. It hurts my feelings. It hurts his feelings. It hurts everybody's feelings. And then it was like, please stop calling me a slut in front of my friends. It hurts my feelings. It hurts everybody's feelings. So it's like, I've gone to her and I've had conversations with her privately that I was like, please stop hurting me. I don't understand why you're doing this. And then she turns around and she's like, you're stalking me, you're harassing me, you're bullying me. It's like, dude, I'm just responding to the bullshit that you're tweeting, posting, and telling people. Like, I'm sorry that you feel like you should be able to tell people all kinds of shit that whatever may or may not be true in your brain, but I have a right to say this needs to stop and this is actually what this person is. And I'm sorry that I'm not super duper nice about it. I'm sorry that I wasn't like, well, she's actually not 100% accurate, and then explained it in very diplomatic terms, but I was pissed. So, like, I'm sorry I called you a thought. I'm sorry I called you a whore. I think you're a thought. I think you're a whore. I think you're a pain in the fucking ass. I think you're somebody who needs to, like, sit down and reevaluate themselves and get a fucking life. Like, a better life for yourself than trying to make one on the internet. It's pathetic and sad. So, like, I'm sorry that I was a little bit rude.
Can I just say, Allie, I don't know if you remember this or not, but our first encounter was like a vicious one between the two of us.
Yeah, you were super mean to me. I think you called me like a meth addict or something.
Here's what I'll say. Well, number one, I'm sorry about that. But and eventually we found like mutual friends that we had in common, and we ceased becoming enemies. But I will say during those few vicious moments, Allie didn't pull any of that shit. Man, there was no reporting. There was no talking endless shit. So yeah, for someone to accuse you of that, I can just say from personal experience that you never did that with me.
Right. You're saying that's not
thanks.
You're saying that's
and
not.
I think you're cool.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And you know what? People disagree and people get nasty with each other when they're disagreeing sometimes. And then eventually they're like, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And that's okay. I mean, I said things that weren't so nice about Adamantine, and he's a really cool guy. So, like, I mean, it happens. But sometimes you're just in it. And
yeah, what I was trying to get at is she's not a let's false report people. She's not like a let's make a vendetta out of this. It was just you're not a stalker, Allie.
It was a lover's quarrel.
You would actually be surprised how common what you're saying is on the internet. I mean, it's pretty common. You know, I've seen a lot of people complain of the exact same things where they get all their stuff flagged, they get harassing messages and all sorts of stuff.
It's insane. And it's just that, like, for me, it's the internet was like an outlet. I mean, it's not someplace that I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a big bad bitch and I'm going to make this whole life. Like, I would say the same things on the internet that I would say to someone's face. And, like, probably the funniest example I have of that is I was on the phone with Seeps and I was checking out at like a Ross or something. And this girl had the nicest rack I have ever seen. And I go to check out and I was like, oh my God, they were gorgeous. And I was just like, you have an amazing rack. And the girl was like, thank you. And then we ended up talking about titty fucking. Like, just standing there in line. And I'm like, here's Seeps on the phone, and he's like, oh my God, you just said that. And I was like, said what? He was like, you just talked to this girl for 20 minutes about titty fucking, and like, she actually like honestly thought that was cool or whatever. And I was on the phone with him again, and I was in line, and I saw the same cashier. And she was like, hey girl, how's it going? And I was like, oh, it's great, how are you? And he's just like, I can't believe she remembered you. And then she called over her coworker, and she's like, this girl gave me the best compliment. She said I had a great rack. And the other girl was like, oh yeah. And then she's like, yeah, we started talking about all kinds of different things. She's like, I tried that with my boyfriend, and you were right. And I was just like, yeah. And he's like, I can't believe these are the interactions that you have with people. And I'm like, I don't know, it's just what I do. So it's like, for me, the internet was more just a quick outlet to talk to a bunch of people from a bunch of places. And I met so many cool people. So I was like, this is awesome. I can talk to everybody instantly the same way that I would make those connections personally if I saw you at a restaurant. But it's a lot easier to get in contact with people on the internet because there's so much of it. So social media for me was really more, I wouldn't say networking in terms of like business or whatever, although I did do some business online, but I didn't, it wasn't my priority. It was more or less just meeting people and hearing their stories without having to pay the expense of, going overseas and things that I couldn't do or afford on my salary. So it was just a way for me to meet people and talk to people. And the fact that it became this like vicious backstabbing, like, I was like, you know what? I was fine without it before. I'll be fine without it now. But some of the people that I had on my Twitter, like I had Sean Hannity, who I would DM with, and Jane Duff, and I mean just a bunch of people who I followed, who followed me back, who I would tweet back and forth with or DM and ask questions about, or I gave some news stories to different outlets or whatever. And it was cool that you could talk to those people, and it was nice that I had enough of a follower base that I could get in contact with some people who were fairly well known, who did cool things. And I just thought it was nice to be able to interface with them and see that they were real people and stuff. So, I mean, kind of sucks that you lose out on that because it was fun, but at the same time, it's like, now I don't have to deal with the people who were bullshit and who were like constantly like a time suck.
It kind of makes sense. I did want to acknowledge before I forget to say hey to Goatman. It's an official stream now. But it's I don't know, man. Whenever we come up with this fucking drama shit, it just drives me nuts because it's just so unnecessary. And you're such a laid back person too. But I did want to get back to this Twitter thing that MOKA was talking about. MOKA, are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you were talking about animals and Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, bro. I got a cupcake in my mouth, man. So
well, I appreciate. You know what? I appreciate you like muting yourself and shit and not making noise. That's excellent. The last thing I want to hear is somebody smacking or rattling a bag of chips or some bullshit like that. Breathing heavy into the mic. Appreciate it.
Well, I kind of can't help breathing kind of heavy into the mic.
I can't hear you. Well, I've got music playing in the background, so that covers stuff up like that. But okay. I couldn't tell you. I just thought you were just.
I don't know if you're able to, because I can send you something if you would like to show like an example. It isn't the cruelest part of this, but pretty much because I got so outraged by it, a shit ton of people are now looking at it.
My stuff that I've got rigged up, it's really hard for me to set it up because.
Okay, but I'm just sending it to you, and I'll just put into the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat exactly. Let me give you a wrench. Where are you, girl? Say something. Say hey in the chat. Let me wrench you so you can do that.
There you go. Mew. All right. Bam. Bam, motherfucker.
All right, man. Okay. And mod. There you go. All right, you're good to go.
All right, word. I'm just gonna toss this into the chat so y'all will, y'all can get a glimpse of this kind of shit that I've been dealing with all day on Twitter. It was not only this bitch. It wasn't only her. There was like a shit ton of people like posting rats like tied up and smacking them, putting clothespins on rats and hanging them from like a string so they'd suffocate slowly. It was fucking awful. The shit I was finding today.
That's like
and I
serial
went on one
killer.
stream.
Yeah,
Go
ahead,
I know,
man.
right?
Yeah, no shit.
And this bitch named Maggie Cube Mammy or whatever, which I got later some information that dudes, don't send me people's doxes, please. They send me exactly where this bitch lives and shit.
God damn.
And I'm like, dude, send that to like the police.
That ain't
don't send
cool
that to
either.
me.
Right, exactly.
Send that to police.
To the authorities.
And well, pretty much said she was laughing all day at this little tiny mouse being like smacked and beaten and hit.
Damn.
And she also, on her Twitter, you can look, it's still fucking there. I checked like a couple minutes ago.
So it's like a rodent
where
version.
she tweets out pictures of people torturing bears.
So
and
it's
torturing
like
animal.
So it's like an animal version of Videodrome, except it's not a movie and it's it's real.
It's real
really
and it's
fucking
sick.
These animals.
And Twitter is I've had a shit ton of people go to this bitch's channel, to go to her Twitter and light that fucking video up. And Twitter is just refusing to take it down. Apparently their Twitter is pro animal cruelty.
Apparently these animals are not Muslims.
Yeah, apparently.
But on a serious note, let me just say that, as someone who loves meat and does not mind pest control, there are times to kill animals for food, for pest control, for self-defense, what have you. But people who enjoy killing animals,
you're fucked up.
Those people don't seem to understand that it's a reflection on their personality.
And I wouldn't even mind if they killed it humanely. Someone just bashing its head in. It's quick, easy, instantly. I would have no problem with it.
Yeah. If you're talking about a mouse or a rat, I mean, they're
disease ridden. I understand.
If they're like in your house, it's pest control. Killing them is not.
I normally do a live trap and then take it somewhere and then release it into the wild. I'm one of those hippies who don't want to kill anything unless I absolutely have to.
But in either case, It doesn't involve the sadism that you're talking about. It's like there's something fucked up with you if you enjoy that. I mean, the animal I hate the most is a spider. Spiders. But even that being said, I'm not going to.
But they also get rid of a shit ton of your pests that's in the house. Flies and shit. So.
In any case, though, even with the spider, it's it's not like I enjoy killing the spider when I see it.
Yeah.
I would rather not have had it been there.
I just get scared. I'm like, this is a natural reaction to whack. But if I a lot of the times, if it's a really, really big one, I had a tarantula one time in my house, and I caught it and I put it outside. I've had a wolf spider in my house. I caught it and put it outside. If you're a really big one, you're living, because I am not dealing with that mess of cleanup.
Well,
I would have screeched like a little girl and burned my house
and I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. You try to crush it and then fucking move the shit to the side and try to beat your ass in. Yeah, I fear you.
Wolf spiders, they eat cockroaches, man.
Wolf spiders are good.
Yeah.
I like having them outside though. They can be outside my house all day long. But when you go inside, I gotta shoot them back outside.
It's really weird because I occasionally we'll have one in the house, because this wolf spider is everywhere where I live. And out of the corner of my eye, I'll see something that I swear to God is the size of a fucking, I don't know, a pig. you know, walking across, you know, and then I'll look over and it's just a, you know, fucking spider. My goddamn, in the periphery, it looks so big, man. It's terrifying.
How can you people live in the South? This is so.
Oh my god, man! Okay, when I lived in Florida, I had like a whole bunch of banana trees planted outside. It was like a little my family did like a little like plantation of banana trees.
Trees are the worst.
They're a parasite, but we would sell them at the farmers market and get a shit ton of money. So it was worth it. It was worth the parasite of the banana trees because you can't kill them. God, after we gave up on the farming life and we tried to kill them, they wouldn't die.
No, because they're like mushrooms. They like root underneath, so you have to like really, like you have to dig them out.
We burnt them, and they came back twice as big.
because they're underneath. Like you have to, you gotta get in there and get those things out.
We finally did, but it was after like the third burning. We're just like, listen, we just got to go in. We just got to go in.
This is horrifying.
But we had banana spiders.
Oh.
You can just come down here and visit and you get a nice little like resort on the beach and you don't have to see any of the other craziness here.
Ugh.
Everybody say hey to Occam.
Hello.
What up, Alchem?
Hey.
Occam.
Hey, man.
Oh, but yeah, if you want to, go to that person's fucking Twitter and flag their shit. I actually fully support their censoring because don't fucking promote fucking animal cruelty. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, I can't advocate that, but I hear you, and I do understand.
It's just I know this is gonna sound awful, but like animal cruelty is right, like a little smidgen below pedophilia. Can't deal with either. If you are a pedophile or an animal abuser, I hate you. Plain and simple.
Well, let's be honest. An animal abuser is it's a step away from a serial killer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's.
And again, I'm not some like vegan like hippie blah blah blah. It's all fine for killing animals for the right reasons, but when you kill them,
as long as it's humane.
When you kill them for pleasure, it really has nothing to do with the killing of the animal. It has to do with like you're fucked up.
Right. A sick pleasure, gratification. It's just. Yeah, it is. It's disgusting as fuck.
It really is.
For fuck's sake, man. We've talked about that. It's like, how do we segue out of that, man?
If you get a group of people together, that's at least one thing that they can agree on, is that's disgusting.
Yeah, indeed.
So, Adamantine, what do you think about snakes?
I love snakes.
Here's the thing. I don't mind snakes, but that's because of where I live. And I live in Minnesota, and we have no poisonous snakes. They're all like garden snakes. They're all harmless. If I lived in the South, I would be horrified.
You wouldn't leave the house. That's funny.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of the fact that where I live gets to be 20 below, but in winter. But I will say this: the nice thing about that is it kills or prevents them from ever coming here. The truly nasty animals, because if I woke up one morning and a tarantula was crawling on me, even if it was a harmless tarantula, or
I wouldn't be a fly on the wall. No lie.
I'd like to say I'd screech like a girl and like, run away, but I literally would probably have a heart attack. I couldn't deal with that shit.
I'm just imagining you screaming like a girl and like pissing yourself, like going, "No, touch me!"
If I was lucky,
terrified.
That's what would happen.
Oh
Snakes
my God.
and spiders. I feel like I was always the man at the house. Like,
oh my God.
Anytime there was anything like crazy going on, and one time we had an iguana in our recycle bin.
Oh,
legit, like 3-foot iguana, and my sister comes around.
Now that wouldn't bother me, but have any of you seen like the bearing videos with the spiders they have there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like
those spiders will, like I told Baring because he invited me to come see him one time, and I was like, dude, I know what's gonna happen as soon as I land. All the spiders are gonna know that I fucking arrived, and they're gonna drag me off. Fuck that shit.
I mean,
yeah, I want to point out
the spiders they have there. I would feel lucky to conquer a tarantula in comparison.
Yeah, and let's leave room for everybody, because I think there's some people that want to talk that aren't getting a chance. It's like, and that's a good problem to have. So, if you need to jump in, just jump in and say something. I mean, that's kind of the way we do it. So,
word.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
I'm never offended when somebody tells me to shut the fuck up. I'm usually like, uh-oh, I got to that point again.
Don't worry, I'm just gonna spank you.
Okay.
Well, I brought up those specific tests because I have a 6
shut the
copper
fuck
head
up,
on my
you
drive.
dumbass thoughts. Tell me about your spider problems and a goddamn lizard. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, big fat Brian. Stop dominating the conversation, will you?
Yeah, fucking Brian, piece of shit.
Dude.
Yeah.
I fucking love you, Brian.
Dude, can you turn your gain up a little bit, because you're like you're coming through as, I don't know, is everybody hearing him really loud, or because I'm hearing him kind of soft?
Oh, he's loud.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm loud as shit. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, he has kind of like an echo though, so he's kind of like going God form for a second.
Oh, do I have an echo?
Going God.
Yeah, slight echo. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, the room's real bright. You're in a real bright room. So
Yeah.
You got some reflection going on. Yeah, sonic reflection is what they call it. Tanuki!
Hey,
Hey!
The wild Tanuki is here.
I was in chat and I'm like, fuck it, I can crash it.
Fuck. Come on in.
I love you. I miss you.
Yeah, but we full to the brim now, so if anybody else, it's tough.
Tanuki, why don't you tell them about your sake?
My sake?
Your sake?
You mean my Japanese piss water, it looks like?
Yes.
All right, what's the story behind this? What are you talking about?
I got bored one day. Actually, no, as most of my stories involve, I was really drunk one day. And I had ordered some Chinese yeast balls from Amazon, which you can, in fact, order. I didn't realize that. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to look up how to make sake real quick. I looked it up, and it's like I needed 2 things. It was like rice and yeast. Oh, fuck, I'm doing that shit right now. And I grabbed one of my mason jars, and I cooked up my rice, and you need to use like a glutinous rice or something with a lot of like sugar and whatnot in it, and like the sticky style rice. Then you just fold in all of the yeast together after you smash up the balls with a rolling pin, and then you just put it in that jar, and you let it sit. And then eventually it turns into booze. It's great. It's amazing. But the problem is, once I re-racked it, it looked like semen because of the residue on it. The residue, well, not the residue, but the leftover chunks of rice in it was like all cloudy, even though I strained it through stuff. And so I had to let the particles settle at the bottom, and now it just looks like piss, but it smells delicious.
No, it looks like separated semen, dude. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not even lying.
The little spermies hanging at the bottom, the little layer.
I'm gonna get so drunk off that separated semen.
You should see if Jeff Holiday will do a Dr. Phil episode with you.
Oh, you know what? I was actually thinking about making jelly juice.
Really?
Oh my god, fucking do it.
Yeah.
And just smash it after you're done. Like, I finally made the jelly juice, I'm gonna do it. And you fucking drop it. It
Oh,
splatters
fuck!
everywhere.
It broke! Son of a bitch, I guess I won't have to eat it.
See,
No. Or you make it and then you get like a sandwich.
See, Brian, what you make is pruno.
Oh, no.
Ghetto, man. That is totally ghetto.
I mean, I'm sort of cooking the same thing in the background right now as we speak. I harvested a bunch of peaches from one of my trees. And
Millions of peaches.
yeah, exactly.
I'll take some peaches. Some peaches.
And I ground them up in the blender, and I mixed them with distilled water. And now I'm waiting for them to simmer until, you know, they hit like 185 or so that there's not too many germs going on in there. And I'm sort of gonna make a version of Pruno.
Speaking of making sure there's no germs, I completely forgot to desanitize all the stuff that I was using to make that sake. It's like the most original form of it because they didn't have the sterilization.
Yeah, it's authentic.
This match may make you go blind, but goddamn, will you feel good going?
Hey! This is not industrial strength sake. This is not Drunken Master, even though I kind of wish it was.
This all sounds like Russian bathtub vodka.
Yeah, it kind of does. In fact, I'm gonna make some Russian bathtub vodka.
I'm gonna dig a section underneath my new yard. And I'm gonna make a speakeasy.
Oh, that's great. Tommy guns and all.
Mm-hmm.
What's the password?
Speakeasy or sex dungeon?
No, the sex dungeon is already in my basement.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Dude.
Wait! You're not gonna make a secondary sex dungeon? What's wrong with you?
Don't have a backup.
Fucking pleb.
Look! I don't have enough space to have 2 sex dungeons.
We can't all go on vacation.
The struggle is real.
Look, you're gonna have to have 1 pause sex dungeon and 1 neg sex dungeon. Come on now, everyone knows.
Well,
one day I'm gonna fucking convince Allie to
don't
fucking go
want
to
to
my dungeon.
cross the strains.
Yeah, you don't want your lovers meeting each other. It always ends badly. Haven't you ever seen a romantic comedy like Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah.
I'll go into anybody's dungeon.
Well, I've been trying to get you down there, but I throw the penny down there and you never go look.
The
Fucking
problem
go.
is Foster had me tied to his washing machine since Halloween.
You got any pictures of that? Just asking.
For science.
Exactly.
It's
art. It's art.
Don't clean the tub. Oh God. Oh God, go man. You sick bastard.
You ever heard that old term? I drink her bath water. You know.
Things that just make you want to go. Whoa.
That's a southern thing there. Man, I drink her bath water. Shit. Man, I would too. That stuff looks good to me.
Only if you're her cousin, IRATE.
That's right.
And only if it's West Virginia.
Man, Mary Sue looks good with that 1-2 she still got.
The family that lays together, prays together. That's just all kinds of layered. Okay. Oh yeah, did y'all see my tweet last night that I realized that Jesus is a MGTOW? Was a MGTOW?
I did see that.
If you think about it.
Bro, look what he did. He started his own religion, and it's still around today. This is just proof the MGTOW way is the way.
Well,
exactly.
There is the theory that Jesus was a gay man.
You think? Do you really? Well, anything's possible.
I don't think about it the other way, but there is a whole
Wait.
12 disciples. It sounds like a sex.
Yeah, but there's all those guys that go, Plato, he was gay. You know Abraham Lincoln, gay. Thomas Jefferson, gay.
It's just like
Thomas Jefferson was not gay.
You know what I'm saying though? There's these people that was.
But Thomas Jefferson did have a sex dungeon.
Batman, gay. Just saying.
Well, I mean, Batman, he's at least bisexual.
Only if it's Ben Affleck.
It's Dick and Bruce.
Thomas yourself found a video of gay Batman.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson. Go ahead.
Ambiguously gay duo. Anybody remember that? No? Nobody remember that?
I remember
the Dick Car.
Star Trek from fucking Saturday Night Live.
The Cockmobile.
The Cockmobile.
Oh, these boulders fell. We gotta go in between them. Oh, yeah.
That's classic, man. Oh, shit.
Speaking of Batman, do you know the origin story of Damian Wayne?
Yes.
No one talks about the fact that Talia al Ghul literally raped him to make a son.
Well, they retconned that so that he was aware of it and he just let it happen, so it wasn't technically rape anymore.
Yeah, but in the original,
he was straight up raped. It was fucked up.
We all know from watching progressive videos that men cannot be raped.
Hey! I'm drinking tonight. Don't ruin my buzz with that shit.
Well, at least not by women.
Yeah, no woman can rape a man. It's impossible.
I'm aware of the rhetoric. I just want to have a good time. But yeah, it's fucked up origin for a Robin.
Yeah, no kidding. And no one talked about it for years.
Well,
nobody liked Damien, that's why.
Well, he's a little fucking asshole is what he is.
Yeah.
He's a spoiled brat. He's a typical
This
rich
is
kid.
comes
you're
in Batman
hoping Jason
Beyond.
Todd comes back.
Jason Todd already came back as Red Hood.
No, I mean
He's
as
got
Robin.
his own comic book series as Red Hood, and it's much better than when he was Robin.
Yeah, because he sucked as Robin. Everybody wanted him to die.
They
I
voted
called
on
the
it.
900.
Yeah, they voted on him.
They said, kill the fucker. Yep. I've got that issue. I've got that whole, like, arc. It's, you know, in first printing somewhere around here. I've got all kinds of really... If you want to buy some really good comic books for, you know, like about half of what they're worth, I'll sell them to you. So, anyway, moving on. I've got fucking 24 long boxes, and I'm sick of lugging these motherfuckers around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to feel the same way about DVDs. I've been collecting DVDs since I was in middle school. So for over 10 years, I've been collecting DVDs. And you know that scene from Hot Fuzz where he opens up the door and it's just like wall-to-wall DVDs? I'm at that point, and it's a pain in the ass. I had to fill up 8 goddamn boxes full of DVDs to move over to my new place.
When I closed down my comic shop...
I'm sorry to break this to you, but they have this wonderful thing called you can buy video online, and
yeah, that's what I do now. That's what I do now. But it's kind of the fact you have the physical medium, and I've been collecting them so long. So now I buy the ones that I like the most instead of just buying everything. Because it used to.
You know, hey, 20 years from now, what is today like a record shop? You'll be able to sell them there for pennies on the dollar.
I know, right? I bought them for pennies on the dollar, honestly. But some of the best movies I've ever bought were like the $2 movies from Bollywood.
Oh yeah. Are you talking about like bootlegs, or are you talking about like the Bollywood, like the Bollywood stuff?
I'm talking like Taiwanese martial art films, some of the Bollywood stuff, and then. But one of my favorite movies of all time. It's so bad. Have you ever heard of a movie called Dynamite Warrior?
Dude, that sounds familiar. All right, what's it about?
It's about a guy whose family is killed by a buffalo herder, and he's an orphan, and he gets trained at this monastery in Muay Thai, and he also learns how to make firecrackers. And so he fights using like dynamite and firecrackers and bottle rockets and shit. And there's this great scene where he's like trying to escape these people that are like surrounding him. And he flies out of his like rickshaw, like his little like cart house, on a giant ass bottle rocket that he's riding. Oh, it's fucking just absolutely ridiculous. There's like some magical element shit to it that I have no idea what they're talking about, but it's so much fun to watch.
I bet.
Also, Death Trance. Really like Death Trance. It's not a great movie by any means. The plot is terrible and all that, but it's got some cool fight scenes in it.
You know what's also not a great movie? Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds.
Well, that's objectively bad. Like, there's no good parts in that movie.
Oh, but Deadpool, yum.
But Ryan Reynolds.
At least he made fun of it.
I do like that scene in Deadpool 2 where he has the script for Green Lantern. He goes, "Oh yeah, we're in the big leagues now, boys."
Hey, you shovel enough money in my direction, I'll play Scarlett O'Hara in a stage remake of Gone with the Wind. I have no qualms about that. That dude got really rich off that movie.
Man, if you can, like, you know, make money lying, you know, it's the best thing to do is just be a politician, you know?
True.
That's even easier than acting.
So says President Clinton, right? Right.
Man, it's so easy. It's like taking candy from a baby.
The worst thing that I've seen out of Clinton lately is that he Me Too'd himself on that Monica thing.
I was victimized. Don't give me that now, ma'am. I'm going to tell you that girl, she had me literally in her hands. She had my balls cupped. I mean, she was going to squeeze them. What was I going to do? I had to let her finish, man. And then she got the shit on the dress. See, that was the kicker. That's what told me that she was going to use it against me. I knew after that, man, that I had to really start thinking fast. And so I called Hillary. And
Bill Clinton is a man who could get off any woman on this planet except his own wife.
Oh, wait. Oh,
understandably.
T-Tac, The Crippled Masters is a great film. Oh, so good.
Somebody in the chat?
T-Tac.
Oh, T-Tac. What's up, man? Yeah.
Sorry, if I see something that interests me in chat, I just instantly say it.
Hey, I'm gonna have to skip for a little bit. I should be back in a minute.
Okay.
Actually, give me like 3 seconds because I need to go get one of my Bowie knives. They're like 5 feet away from me, so I can open this beer. Because I forgot my bottle opener upstairs.
I thought you were gonna shank me. I'm about to be all right. I'll accept my fate.
Now, I got this beautiful new Bowie knife that I just am in love with. It's fantastic. And currently, the most use I've gotten out of it is opening my beers.
Well,
So that's a way to make beer, man.
Where there's a will, there's a way. When there's a Bowie
priorities.
Knife,
I was using the sheath of one of my like smaller neck knives, but it's starting to tear up the sheath of it. So I'm just gonna go grab one of my bigger Bowie knives to take care of this. I'll be back in a sec.
Hey, Occam.
Occam.
We need some proof of life here.
What now? Oh,
okay, you're alive. Just checking.
So what's going on, man? All right, you need to give us a total breakdown of your Africa trip, dude. All right, because you like one day you literally after the CREEM stream you say, oh, by the way, I'm leaving for Africa for 3 weeks, right? and so it's like I'm like, what the fuck?
Did you get some bush?
No, dude. Ask him. I know he didn't.
Occam got the AIDS.
The hives.
How much beer? Get any?
So what's going on, dude? Tell me about it. What happened?
Like I wanted to go to Africa, so I did.
Okay, and what part did you go to? Did you see any like lions or any shit like that? Any zebras?
I went to Malawi. I didn't get to see all the different kinds of animals because apparently in Africa, like depending on what season it is, the animals migrate to different areas.
Okay, keep going.
Like elephants.
Was that the end of it?
No, so elephants and all that kind of stuff were like migrating away.
Right, so they were they headed like north or south? I'm getting nothing.
There were baboons running alongside the car.
So Occam, question: What did you see beyond desperate poverty?
There's nothing past it.
No. I mean, that's a lot of what there is down there.
See?
Like, there's like, and their towns are pretty shitty actually. Like, they're not very good.
Well, what did you expect, man?
No,
I'm serious.
Didn't really know what to expect. That's why I went.
Okay.
Sometimes you just do things to experience it.
No, yeah, Occam is good at that. No joking.
So did
Macedonia, Africa, like, you know.
I know,
but yeah. I already know.
Give him that credit. I mean, he.
Oh yeah, that's
the nations that stepped foot in. The nations that have at least stepped foot in. Thoroughly visited them, but at least stepped foot in. So far, 6.
Okay.
In the order that I stepped foot in them, and these were all outside the U.S. Turkey.
Well, I do have a question about Africa. Was it as Empire of Dust portrays it?
Empire of Dust.
It's a documentary about Africa.
Dust in Africa.
Are y'all hearing him?
He's choppy.
I
Can you hear me?
Yes.
For the most part, yes.
Yeah.
Explain to me the Empire of Dust thing a little bit, so I can like.
Empire of Dust was like a controversial documentary where the main host of it is some Asian guy who sort of berates this African guy about their culture and the fact that they were given so many things and they never progressed.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Racist.
Whoa. I'm asking if it was like that.
Right.
Hey, man,
okay.
Honda.
They aren't really progressing that much, no. I mean, they have cities, but their cities aren't really that great.
They're all like Detroit.
Like they're almost imagine like Old West style cities. That.
So it's nothing like Wakanda.
There's no vibranium.
No! All
we
of
wasn't
Africa is
kings?
Wakanda.
Damn it!
I mean, we wasn't kings.
You
No, they
be
weren't.
King of a shithole. That's true.
King of the Mud Hut.
Speak up, Jack.
You can be king of a shithole.
Bit of the history of Malawi, not too detailed, but a little bit. Malawi, 1964, was a British colony.
Okay.
Then, I don't know, it didn't take much for the Brits to leave, because all it took was, there was a very, very small burst for independence, and they killed a few Brits, and then the Britain was like, all right, we're done with you. We've gotten all the resources and everything we wanted in this area anyway, and then they just took off and left.
So they cut their losses and they let them fuck themselves?
Love it.
Like, the Brits were just, all right, you're not worth it anyway. You can go ahead and
Look,
big revolution, like, at all. And it wasn't probably going to be a big revolution anyway. It's not like they had a lot of resources, but...
let me be honest here, Occam. The only reason I've ever even heard of Malawi is because Madonna adopted kids there, or i.e. stole them.
It's actually one of the poorest in Africa, in the world, actually. They're in the top 10, at least.
But I'm not insulting Occam. He has odd choices of where to go, but I respect that because I'm kind of like that, although less adventurous than him. And on a previous stream today, Occam and I were talking, and Occam wants to go to Antarctica, which I utterly respect. That is just that would be the best place to go in the world.
Yeah.
No way, Mountains of Madness. No thanks. I saw the thing. Giant alien monsters living down there, pretending they're my friends. No.
Look.
Hey, you might get some video of penguins fighting. You never know.
Look, the beauty of Antarctica is you have to try to find humans there, which.
No, it's not the humans I'm worried about. It's the fucking monsters. They'll be the ones
all them penguins.
I want to watch the orcas.
Hey, you don't know what goes on under those
Orcas
mountains.
evil,
I saw Alien versus Predator.
Well,
You saw how bad that movie was?
No, that was
I don't want to be in a bad
excellent.
movie.
Shut up. That was excellent.
That movie was terrible.
There's all
Alien
these
versus
rival,
Predator was crap.
penguins.
Another terrible thing about Africa actually has to do with their inefficiency. Like, normally, the continent will say, look, we're connected. We're going to all pick a side of the road to drive on. Nations on this continent with connected roads will drive on the same side. North America, you go to Canada or America or Mexico, right side of the road. Great.
Not so much in Mexico.
Up, right side of the road. Britain can get away with it because they're an island. So, but
And irrelevant.
They don't do that because it's mostly based on who had it colonized. what side of the road. Malawi, left side of the road. You could drive out of Malawi into another country and then have to suddenly switch lanes because they drive on the right side of the road.
Right.
They
That's
don't
fucked up.
like the countries in Africa don't have an agreement over what side of the road to drive on. So they just pretty much whatever country colonized them drove on whatever side they were used to in that country, and then
It makes sense.
and they never changed anything. So you could drive, if you're driving through Africa into a different country, if they drive on the right side of the road, once you cross the border, you have to switch lanes.
Does it really
So
matter what
it
side
doesn't
of the
make
dirt
any
you
sense.
drive on?
I
Well,
mean,
they have paved.
Now, let's
I
be
mean,
fair.
it doesn't matter, but when you're trying to get everything organized and you're trying to cross the border and you're trying to switch roads, do you have like an underpass, overpass kind of deal where they like duck over and under each other? Like, how do you switch lanes to go to a different country?
I think you just
Here's the thing. I don't know that most of Africa has. I know they don't have an interstate. Most of it, like an interstate. It's like they have major highways.
It's like the height of fashion in Africa is the Piggly Wigglies.
Oh man,
That's sad.
I don't know. And another thing, their currency is not worth a lot. Like, well, it depends on where you go.
No.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, obviously. But where I went in Malawi, like they use a currency called kwacha. 730 kwacha to $1. So when I got there, I exchanged $500 for kwacha and got like a few bricks of money worth 365,000 kwacha. A brick of 1,000, 2 bricks of 1,000s actually, and a brick of 2,000s.
And yet he left there without a prostitute.
Say what you do is you just get it all in singles and you make a throne out of it. That's what you should have done. Take a picture of that and then get it all converted back.
The problem is their singles are a single kwacha, which I saw, which is funny, but it's a coin. They don't have bills.
ah,
The lowest bill they have is a 20, and that's just retarded as it is.
All right, how'd this get financed? You know, I don't mean to be nosy or anything, but it's like, did you save money and do this, or did your like dad have like free miles on his, you know, on his airline, you know, deal? Or
I just things ahead, and I kind of know what I want to do, and then I just.
Oh, I know what this all means. He didn't buy prostitutes in Africa. He prostituted himself in Africa.
Oh, he's an egg-hole now.
see, I thought you were going a different way with that. I thought you were saying he
Oh,
bought
that's that
a
little egg hole.
As the resident AIDS baby, I have to advise against that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yikes.
I can definitely say Africa's the last place you want to be doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, you're true. IRATE, can I totally change the subject for a minute?
No.
go for it.
We're having a very deep conversation about AIDS babies now.
Naming the 6 countries outside the U.S. that have stepped foot in now.
Did you see they have the the PREP now?
I want to ask Ellie a question.
Okay, fine.
Do it.
She last week she alluded to like the most fascinating thing, which was kind of like a blah blah this when it deserved a conversation. Allie, tell us about your future profession.
I start school and I start an internship shortly after that in funeral service. I'm going to be a mortician.
Oh, very nice.
Congratulations.
What? First of all, if I can ask, what led you to that? What made you decide that's what you wanted to do?
It's all about the fetish.
It's going to be super sappy. So my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and for about 5 years, we watched her die. She had it She was diagnosed about 15 years prior to her death. But for the last 5 years, it was like literally watching a human being die. We sent her to a facility close by her house, which we moved her from Long Island to Florida. And it was really awesome in that they did activities for them to help stimulate their brains. And so it made watching her die a lot easier. When she was ready to go, we sent her to hospice, and I stayed with her through the night until she took her last breath. And then I went up to Long Island, where we kind of figured out like what we're gonna do. And the funeral director was incredible. The mortician had made it so that it looked like she was sleeping. Mm-hmm. She didn't look. She had a wake, and it didn't look like she was gone. It just looked like she was sleeping and very peaceful. And he did something sort of interesting and meaningful to us, in that her funeral package kind of included stopping at her house, her last residence on the island, and leaving a rose at the mailbox. But her last residence was like a retirement home. She only lived there for about 5 or 6 years. And then her main house was a house on Fulton Avenue. And I still know the address. Like, that's where we used to drive every year. That's where we saw her. That's where my grandma and grandpa lived. Like, their whole life, she raised her family there. And so the funeral director took a route past her home at the retirement community, and then stopped also at the house on Fulton Avenue and left 2 roses at the mailbox, one for my grandfather and one for my grandmother. And he was just really awesome. And that was kind of when I started thinking, this is something that I would like to give to other people, because we didn't have to worry about anything. Like, from the minute that he took control of her body in the funeral service, we had nothing to worry about. Like, it wasn't like, okay, what's happening? What's going on? He was like, look, we got it. We're taking care of it. Don't worry about it. You guys enjoy each other. Relax. If you need anything, please let us know. If we've done anything that, if we could do anything more for you, let us know and we'll do it. And it was kind of a really, we knew she was going to pass away. She was very old. She was very sick. But at the same time, this is somebody that we loved a lot, and he took such good care of her and such good care of us that it was something that I kind of wanted to give back to other people.
Right. It made that big of an impression on you.
I fully see where you're coming from, Allie. One of my dad's best friends owned a funeral. Owns, actually, I think he's still alive. Owns a funeral home, and that's his degree of professionalism is freaky. Like, what he knows about people, like, and he's basically taking care of people after they've been dead for like pretty much everyone I've known in life that's dead. And it's always like top notch, like grade A shit. But here's a question I have for you though: how much have you gotten into the details of like for lack of a better term, dirty work? And when I asked that, I asked that because he gave me a tour of his funeral home once, the back end, and. Well, there was nothing like super surprising there, but it's like the shit that people don't want to think about. How much of that have you either like looked into or like literally experienced?
Well, that's something that I'm going to do with the internship. That's going to start. I'm going to start working at a funeral home on nights and weekends, in addition to my full-time job, which is. I work with children in the ghetto as a behaviorist. I've been involved with Alzheimer's and watching people die, and obviously a lot of them are very old. But I also have been to the morgue a few times in my life, which not great. But I had a friend of mine that was murdered for drugs, and I went to go see him at the morgue. I went to identify the body of my friend who committed suicide. So I've kind of, I saw one of my friends who actually asphyxiated. Like, I'm super weird about alcohol because at age 19, a friend of mine asphyxiated. They just like left him in his house, and 2 other friends dropped him off, and yeah, he asphyxiated and died at 19. So, like, anytime anybody's like, I'm going to be sick, like, I won't leave. But, yeah, I've just kind of been around it. I mean, that sounds kind of shit, but, like...
No, I mean, everybody has their own thing, so it's understandable.
Yeah, so some people have been around it, some people haven't. But, yeah, so that's going to be something that'll be a little bit eye-opening, but I'm excited.
Well, cool. In my opinion, at least, I mean, it's something that people could easily call ghoulish, but people need to do it.
Well, you know that
it really isn't ghoulish. And from what you were saying about your grandma, and from what I know about my friend's dad, who, by the way, for lack of a more eloquent term, did my mom and dad. That sort of professionalism at that moment is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people who do it and do it right, it really is just a matter of write out a check, and they make everything else smooth.
Yeah.
And that's
it makes it so much easier.
You can prearrange
to grieve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you don't have to worry about it beyond and it was, with my parents, it was literally a 30-minute conversation, and everything is taken care of.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear about them passing, but I'm glad that it was handled well.
Well, and I think that's something that a lot of people take for granted. It's like I found out when I was actually I had planned on going into that business myself at one point, and I learned that the funerary business, what we call the standard business today, didn't exist until like the 1800s, and then before then it was just burial, and no preparation, none of that. Preferably though, I would like to be cremated. I think that's a you know what I'm saying? It's just for me. I don't make because I think it's important that each person and their family go through and plan together. So there's so all wishes are met. There was a situation that happened a couple of years ago where some wishes weren't met, and there was ill feelings, in the family afterwards. So it's all that shit's very important. A will, etc. But the funerary planning itself is really, really, really important, and and I admire Allie for doing that, because there's a counseling aspect to what she does. She's going to be doing that is very intensive and very emotional and very
the guy I was talking about is brilliant at that, and
you have to have that skill.
Not to be like overly superficial, Allie, but the other nice thing about this is it's extremely lucrative.
Lucrative as hell.
Because that guy that I'm talking about, granted he owns the funeral home, but that guy is a millionaire many, many, many times over. Yeah. And he earned every cent as far as everything I saw throughout my entire childhood and adult life. Because he, like you were saying, Allie, he made everything easy for everyone.
Mm-hmm. That's the goal, I I don't know. I've kind of always, it's always been something I've wanted to work in. And like, I was always kind of hanging out around like cadavers, and I initially started in Molech Micro to go into forensic pathology. So I was always kind of like in the anatomy and cadaver labs and hanging around. So ultimately I decided I didn't want to be the person to have to tell somebody that their child was brutally murdered.
Yeah, you can imagine.
So I switched, kind of switched gears, and I went into education and started working with children, and then started working with children with behavioral issues. And it's just something that I've always thought in the back of my mind was kind of cool, and I didn't really think about it until my grandmother passed away, and I was like, that's a really cool job, and he did an amazing job. And I mean, we were all so relaxed, which isn't generally the feeling you associate with the funeral.
Right, the stress, right, exactly. It's very
but it was like
and emotional.
He took care of it, and he was just like, don't worry about it. And it was like, okay. And you know, he got in contact with the pastor that was her pastor, you know, talked to him, said, okay, this is what we're doing, told us what the structure of the wake was going to be, how the funeral was going to go, like asked us how many people are giving eulogies, how would you like us to, you know, to help you with that, how can we transition you guys, if you can't say anything, do you want to give me the paper, I'll read it for you, you know, like things like that you were just like, I never would have thought about it.
Right.
That you're like, you've literally thought of everything. I mean, I get that it's your job, but we've literally thought of everything that I don't have to worry. Like, I know everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so it was very like relaxing to know that there was somebody who, I mean, it kind of helped a little bit that he was in the same graduating class as my cousin.
Well,
so they were friends, but.
And what this tells me is the kind of person that you are. Because, you know, you're really not drawn to it for the money or for anything, but it's for the fact that you want to have that kind of positive impact on somebody's life. And, you know, that tells me what kind of a person that you are. You know, and we're going to talk more about this kind of stuff on Sunday.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Hold on. What's Sunday, right?
Sunday I will be at 3 p.m. Central. That's 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific. I will be interviewing Allie, and we're going to do.
Oh, I hope I didn't ruin it.
No, you did not at all. There's a bunch of other. This lady is multifaceted, and there's a lot of colors to this rainbow here. So. Yeah.
For what it's worth, Allie, I think what you're planning on doing is fantastic because, you know, like I said, people will superficially look at this as ghoulish, but by the time they run into, you know, you and your future profession, they've already gotten the hard news. And everything you said about how easy it was made with your grandmother, the guy that I knew that was friends with my dad. Exact same thing. It's like they made it so incredibly smooth with all of these people that it's not ghoulish. It's doing a great service.
Exactly.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. And I think for a long time when I thought about it, I was like more afraid because I was like, gosh, everybody's gonna think I'm like a weirdo who likes to play with dead things, and so it was hard to do that. But like honestly, being where I am now, like I'm older, I'm more mature ish at times, and I have an excellent boyfriend who supports literally everything that I do or say. And I was like, hey, here's something while we're talking about dreams and hopes and all this stuff. This is something that I've kind of thought about doing, and I researched the school, and they have one online that I could do this school. I would need to spend a couple weeks doing labs, and I would have to find my own sort of internship, but I'm willing to kind of dive into it. How do you feel about it? And he was like, go for it. I think it's awesome. And so I was like, okay, let's do this. Yeah. And then probably like spent about 6 months researching the school and making sure that it was, you know, something for me, and applied and got in. So excited.
And literally everybody in this room will be affected by that profession at some point in their life. You know,
it's something that means a lot to me to be able to give back to people. Like, I want to give to somebody what I had.
Sweet.
Because I don't know, it's really hard. And it's not that I don't love my job now, because I do. I totally enjoy what I do, but I don't know, it's kind of like a pipe dream. So maybe we'll see how it goes.
Well, I mean, it's not pipe dream if you're actually following through with it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's definitely not a career that will never lose its market. I mean, you know, it's gonna happen.
I mean, that's the hard facts of the matter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, either of the things that I've chosen to commit myself to, which sucks. And I think that what I'm doing now, I think in an ideal world and in a perfect world, I wouldn't have to do.
Well, I would think that even in a perfect world, that they're not having death kind of negates how much you want to live. And
no, I'm talking about what I do. What I do now is.
Oh, okay. Now what you do, not okay.
Yeah.
My gears were in the wrong direction. Gotcha.
I work in a school for behaviorally challenged youth, and a lot of my kids are homeless and in transition, or have behavioral health problems like
you do
oppositional defiance
monumental
disorder,
task,
or ADHD, or any number of things. I had a couple of autists in my class last year.
Yeah, and that's something that our paths kind of cross in areas, you know, through that. So, and yeah, that's one of the things I want to focus on. So yeah,
it's interesting because either way I decide to go with it, you know, there'll be a need, but honestly, what I'm doing now, I don't think there should be a need. I think it sucks.
Yeah, that's true.
But so we're winding down. We're at the bottom of the hour, and you know, this is a good point to start doing our exit shills. So we'll let MOKA went. Okay. So Allie, do you have anything besides what we're doing on Sunday coming up?
Not lately.
Okay. Nothing Sunday afternoon?
Oh, I have Vulcan's stream at 7:30.
That's right.
That's what he asked me. He's like, dude, yeah, I'll be on Emperor Vulcan's channel doing what we usually do, which is usually I frustrate him because he tries to get a point out and I derail it with sexual poetry.
Atta girl.
Well, sometimes you got to let stuff breathe too, you know. That's you know, and that's so. All right, let's see. What about you, Occam, man? We haven't talked a whole lot since you've gotten back. So what have you got? What's in the works there?
At IRATE, I was gonna call you, but during the time that I was gonna originally call you, my phone started doing dumb stuff, and I had to take it to the phone store.
Ah.
Okay. It's working now, but hey, for one thing, real quick, because I didn't get to finish doing it earlier. The 6 countries outside the U.S. that I've stepped foot in now.
Yeah, we keep losing your signal though. You need to talk right into the microphones because it's losing.
How about now?
Perfect.
For the 6 countries that I have stepped foot in outside the U.S., necessarily like visited, but at least been in a little bit. Macedonia, Ethiopia, Malawi, and Ireland. Okay, so those are the 6. But anyway, besides that, STREEM a debate actually that I'm organizing. Aiden Paladin, because Aiden Paladin wanted to do this debate with me. So we've been working the details out for that. We don't have an exact date set yet, exactly what channel it's going to be on yet, but it's a thing that's going to happen, and we've been working on it. So, point.
All right.
I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. Brian, you got anything you want to shell, bro?
Subscribe to Big Fat Brian.
That's
I make
right.
food. I shit post a lot, things like that. I got a fermenting series happening and an apocalypse series happening.
Cool. What, you got anything going on Thursdays?
Oh yeah. There's this little show I'm part of. I'm basically the star, and there's just somebody else there that's kind of he talks a lot.
Hashtag fluffer.
Hashtag fluffer, exactly. It's called Hot Takes. It's Netflix Hot Takes, and you should watch that show. We review anime, horror, sci-fi, and I believe Netflix originals.
Yeah, original and true crime. And Thursday, what is we're doing an original movie with Jared Leto called The Outsider or Outsider.
Hot.
Yeah. So.
No, him, not you.
Well, Brian, you should be
Or
honored.
him.
Yeah.
No, not him either.
Okay.
I am
Jared
honored.
Leto.
Thank you for calling me hot.
Yeah.
I'll send you a tit pic later.
Please don't.
All right. Hold on one second. All right. Tanuki.
I crash live streams and I drink a lot. I also cook occasionally.
He's gonna get the Smirnoff Red, White, and Blue now. Because it's
I might make my own.
All right. And Jack.
My laundry just reached the 300th episode, so if you'd like to watch that, go over to my channel and watch my laundry.
That's awesome, man. I love your channel, dude. And, all right, Hyruken, Death Hyruken, you got anything you want to pimp?
Go to Chaos 128 show, and you can find me in the chats.
All right. And on that note, this is IRATE Prostate.
Oh my God, IRATE, you didn't even.
Oh my bad. I'm so sorry, dude.
Yeah, that's because you're forgettable.
My sincerest apology. Please, Sir Adamantine.
Well, number one, I believe it's always kind of iffy, but I believe there's going to be a me and Red Pill Shark stream happening momentarily. I'm going to give that a 50-50. Normally I have my Saturday drinks with friends with IRATE Prostate and many others. Since I've already had 2 of them this week, I may or may not, depending upon when I wake up. Who knows? But IRATE, I have a question for you.
Please.
Give us the details of the you and Allie interview. Like that's on your channel.
Yeah, it'll be on my channel.
Time?
Be on my channel. Eastern, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. Central is 3 o'clock, and of course that means in Pacific time it'll be 1 p.m. So check it out. I'll definitely tweet it out beforehand, and so stick around if you enjoyed listen to Allie talk and you find her to be a compelling, interesting person like I do. Check it out because we're gonna like probe some topics I think that she will find interesting. We're gonna have a good time. So I love talking to people and interviewing them. So. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this thing to begin with. So you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I guess all right on that. I've got let's see. I want to say, oh God, what am I looking at? Chaos 120. My night moves to Monday, starting this Monday, and of course, like Brian had talked about earlier, the hot takes will be the Jared Leto movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Check it out so you can talk with us about it. We do a phone-in segment, so watch it and hang out with us and shoot the shit. So, and on that note, this is IRATE Prostate for reals. Saying it's another cream stream in the bucket. Y'all have a great week and take care.
Dab on the haters.
Bye.